Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacenti. I welcome you to the Whitesboro Fire Department and thank them for their cooperation today. Chief Sobel, who's allowed us to use his venue. I am joined by a host of public officials, which I will let the governor acknowledge in a moment as we turn this over to him. First of all, the governor, when I saw the governor on Saturday, I didn't think he'd be back so soon, but he is, and unfortunately it's another one of these events that we've had to deal with. The other day we had a severe snowstorm, severe weather conditions, and drop in temperatures, and of course the last couple days a rise in temperatures, a lot of rain, and clearly we knew that that would cause us some problems, in particular in areas that we've seen problems before and that we've been working on for the last several years. But this is a Mother Nature event that has some repairs necessary and work as we're going through. The main problem, again, at least from the Sequoia Creek to the Mohawk River, is the general area around the Sequoia Creek pump station, which is the county-run station that pumps the water from that and treats it over to our sewage treatment plant over in Utica. The pump station is in line with the creek and in direct access across to the river, where the creek feeds into that river. And for years now, we've seen blockages at the CSX bridge, which is where the railroad tracks meet, and the bridge where CSX rail comes across. That bridge we've had numerous problems with in the past because the culverts that are located there are limited and aged. The infrastructure is older, and we have worked very diligently with our partners in state government and DOT and DEC, our public works, the town of Whitestown as well, to clear up that area. But today was no exception as the ice jams that got loosened because of the change in temperature, along with other debris in the creek beds, have caused again some blockages. We are working with DOT, with Oneida County Public Works, and with the town to clear that. More work is yet to be done. We are working very diligently and worked immediately since this problem occurred, and have been in constant contact with the governor and his staff regarding this. And again, the governor has deployed every resource available for this situation. I want to thank him again personally for that, and on behalf of the residents of this community. There's work to be done. Our goal here is to keep from flooding the residents of this community and causing any other hazards that are before us. So we will continue to work with all our partners in state government to do that. And with that, I am going to turn it over to a great friend and the governor of this great state, Andrew Cuomo. Governor Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would say it's a joy to be back, but it's actually not good news today. But we are on top of it. First, to County Executive Anthony Pacenti, I want to thank him and his entire team for the great partnership and how we cooperate on the most extraordinary circumstances. And we have an example of that today. I want to thank the mayor and the supervisor. We have Michael Copey, who's the head of State Emergency Management. We have Commissioner Rowan DeStito, who is no stranger to this community, and Assemblymember Buttonshone is here, and Senator Griffo, and I want to thank them both for their help and their assistance, because some of the repairs that we're going to need to make, the state wants to be helpful, but it's going to require funding, and it's going to require the legislature to approve it, so I'm glad that they're here. Extreme weather is a new normal for us. You know, we never had these types of floods. We never had this level of snowfall. We never had hurricanes. We never had typhoons. This is a new pattern, not just in New York, not just in this country, but all across the globe. Extreme weather is a reality. That has increased our challenges as a government because it's given us something else to respond to and to adjust to. And that's what we're doing. Unfortunately, we see more and more of these situations, and that's why we have to be even faster and more capable than we've ever been before. This is not a new situation. As the county executive said, it's gone on for years. But when you have more of these extreme weather events, it aggravates the problem. The basic problem is, frankly, a CSX railroad bridge. State doesn't own it, county doesn't own it, town doesn't own it. It's owned by CSX Railroad. It's an old bridge. It's a low bridge, and their bridge causes a clog. Debris gets caught in the bridge, or the ice starts to break up and large pieces of ice come down and they get caught in the bridge, and that starts a backup. The state has a project where on both sides of that bridge we're going to put in culverts. We've put in the culverts on one side of the bridge, 5 of them, and that has made the situation better than in the past. We still have to do culverts on the other side of the bridge to increase the flow, and that work will start in February. That will mitigate the situation. I would love to be able to say that will resolve it. I don't believe it will resolve it. I believe the real resolution is CSX has to put a new bridge in that location. And they have to be more attentive, frankly, and more cooperative, because it is their bridge that's causing the problem. It's endangering lives, it's endangering safety, and CSX is a railroad company, but they also owe an obligation to the communities that they serve. And this is a host community to the railroad. Their obligation is to be a good neighbor and not to be a negative. And this is causing significant harms, a significant cost to the state and the county and the town, as well as the people who are suffering. So we're going to take it up with CSX once again. They know about the problem. They've been informed about the problem. And frankly, they have not been cooperative. And we're going to do everything we can. The state will consider legal action against CSX if they're not cooperative. Because, as they used to say in the old neighborhood, at one point, enough is enough. And enough is enough. We're spending state money to try to make it better on an interim basis. We have equipment out now that's working with the county, that's breaking up the ice, removing the ice. But until we get that bridge replaced with a new, higher, modern bridge, that's the real solution. And every year, we're out trying to compensate for the damage that their bridge is causing. And it's caused homeowner damage. It's caused a lot of people undue pain, and we need CSX to make a difference. In the meantime, we'll start the second culvert project. Again, the culverts relieve some of the water that's behind the bridge, that gets stuck behind the bridge, but the culverts will not compensate for the flow that needs to go under their bridge. And that's the answer, and we'll be doing both the culverts, but then doing what we need to do to see if we can get an answer out of CSX, or as I said, the state will pursue legal action against them because it's caused a lot of suffering to the people of the state of New York. Questions for myself or any of my colleagues?
Governor, you just toured the area. With what you saw, how extensive is the damage, and what can the residents of the area expect as a help from the state in regards to their damage that they've seen on their homes?
Well, the state has been, and the state legislature, as I said, we have Assemblymember Buttonshaw here and Senator Griffo. The state legislature has been very good at providing assistance to families wherever they are in the state. As I said, this is not new anymore. We have these, what would have been bizarre extreme weather events at one time, 7 feet of snow in Buffalo. Buffalo knows snow, but even Buffalo doesn't get 7 feet of snow. Typhoons, hurricanes, floods in places. I've been in homes that have never had a drop of water in the basement for 100 years, and the house was swept away by a flood. So this has happened with some regularity, and the state, through the state legislature, has always been very good at providing assistance for families who were damaged. And it's actually a nice thing, you know, in this day of politics and partisanship. Doesn't matter what part of the state, doesn't matter what the circumstance, the state legislature has always provided assistance. If the damage here is extensive enough, then we will go to the legislature and make that same request. Let's see how extensive the damage is to the individual homeowners. Let's reduce the damage by what we're doing now. We have a significant amount of person power and equipment breaking up the ice so it's moving, and this should provide temporary relief. But as I mentioned before, the long-term solution is going to be that CSX bridge.
Now, one of the issues that we saw last year with the funding was that when we applied for federal funding to help out, the government didn't provide it. Is there any concern that this is going to happen again? Are we planning on applying for FEMA again? What concerns do we have that?
The federal aid only kicks in at a certain eligibility level. You have to have a significant amount of damage to be eligible for federal assistance, and then it's still a guess whether or not you get it. I do not believe this damage will rise to the level of federal assistance. But again, let's see what it is and assess the damage when we actually know what it is.
Is it possible that the state or federal government could possibly buy the homes for this to relieve the homeowners who are in flooding?
Well, I don't know, frankly. I don't know the local situation well enough. Maybe the mayor would.
We're not at that point right now.
We're not at that point. That's why I defer to local officials. See how fast they give you the answer? State officials.
What's the state records? Resources, manpower, money?
Well, all of the above. Good answer. We have equipment there now, heavy equipment that is breaking up the ice and moving the ice to get the water flowing, moving the ice that backs up behind the CSX bridge and then stops the water flow. The state is also putting in culverts on both sides of the bridge to increase the water flow. And we have a project on the far side of the bridge, the second set of culverts, which will start in February. One set of culverts is in. It's making a difference. Would have been worse without those culverts. The second set of culverts will mitigate the situation even more, but the real solution is the bridge.
You know, you never want to get to the point where you're going to file a suit against any company, but if this does continue, how much longer are you looking for it might be?
I'm right about done, to tell you the truth. This has been recurring. It's been recurring for a long period of time. You're right. A lawsuit is always the last option. I am not a litigious person, and normally you expect good faith, and you expect cooperation and reasonableness by the other side. There has been none of the above by CSX. There's been no basic understanding, no reasonableness, no cooperation, no assistance. The state is spending the money to put in these culverts. Frankly, it's not even our issue, and we shouldn't even be doing this. The county, the town is paying a lot of money. They're not creating the problem. It is purely CSX. It has gone on for years. Homeowners have been damaged for years. And, you know, you ask, you're nice, you expect reasonableness, but at one point you have no option. And I think we're up at that point where we have no option. And frankly, some companies, that's what it requires to get their attention. And that's a shame. And it shouldn't take that. But for some companies, that's what it takes. Anybody like to add anything, Mayor? Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Friedlander. I'm the mayor of the village here. First off, I'd like to thank the governor, his staff, the county exec, the state officials, the town. Everybody has rolled up their sleeves and have been involved. This is not something that we take lightly. Yesterday, I had a conversation with Oneida County Emergency Services, one of their commissioners or directors. They were brought aware of the fact that our concerns were the creek looked like it could possibly do what it did. We were ready. We were prepared. The reporter asked about damages to houses. As far as my office knows, no cellars had to be pumped. National Grid did not kill power to any houses. There were a few people displaced when the water was high. We moved them, if necessary, to a Red Cross station. It wasn't excessive because we were on top of it. We saw the problem coming. We have heavy equipment here. It broke up the ice. The water is receding. And certainly, as the governor said, enough is enough. In this case, enough is too much. So I really hope that we can count on the governor to certainly press on the bridge down there, the train bridge, because that is the problem. It's not your local people. We're doing what we can do. Thank you.
Anybody have any comments? Sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sean Collette, Town of Whitestown Supervisor. Mr. Governor, thank you for being here. I'd like to add that we're no longer waiting for floods to happen. And with the state's support and with the county support and with the village's support, we're taking a proactive effort and we're trying to be as proactive as possible. The latest example being this past summer, all of us coming together to do some serious regrading work adjacent to the CSX tracks, helping that flow under the tracks, what we've been talking about today. The governor is absolutely right. CSX needs to step up to the plate more. We need to get that water flowing under the bridge more. But again, we are doing everything that we can to remediate this situation as much as possible. The biggest project being the Sequoia Creek Channel and Floodplain Restoration Project, which, as the governor did mention, is a project on the town side and on the village side. In addition to culverts, we're looking at constructing and installing 12 floodplain benches, which will lead to a significant decrease in water levels in flooding situations like this one, the flooding situation we had on July 1, 2017. So it's so nice to see different agencies, different levels of government coming together. We're working hard. We have more work to do, but we are doing it. And again, CSX, we're going to keep the pressure up. Thank you.
I inadvertently omitted, I want to thank our local DPW here in the village and our local fire department here in the village. They've been going since early this morning. They're still here. They're not quitting. They're not giving up on anybody. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Governor, I have a question. It's always a good thing to have a governor in our village. It's unfortunate for the reason that it is. So thank you for showing up. I will be completely honest, nothing that we have heard here today is brand new. So on behalf of the residents of this village, give us something new and commit to a drop dead date when you're going to file a lawsuit.
I will contact CSX this week and say if they are not prepared to tell us at this time what action they will take, that we're going to commence a lawsuit.
Can you give us a
This week.
approximate date
This week.
of when the state is willing to file a lawsuit?
I'm going to contact them this week and say if they don't commit immediately to action, we're going to file a lawsuit.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.